Hi, welcome. Welcome to our 8th US Confluence. The topic is AI, the spring of AI, and what it means for automation and engineering. We've had many conferences over the years, and last year the topic was about leading change. Year before that, it was about Internet of Things. And in 2014, it was about the future of engineering. This is the US chapter. We've had conferences in Munich and in India. But in this chapter, we are welcoming, for the first time, we have Altran, we have Accenture, we have Digite, and we have InnoMinds. A warm welcome to all of them joining. And you'll get to know more about them during the course of the sessions. Confluence brings together industry stalwarts, entrepreneurs like yourselves, practitioners, all together to discuss and deliberate over current and future topics that we think are very relevant. And in a way that today many organizations are disappearing and many organizations are catapulting themselves to the next spheres of growth. And what are those technologies? But before I introduce the agenda, I have the easiest job of introducing the agenda and introducing MR, who is going to take us through the sessions today. I'll use the next few minutes to illustrate a few examples of what we think automation is and the continuum of automation and engineering. Hopefully, what I'm talking about you don't think is all garbage. Or perhaps it is. This is fully the collection and the transportation is manual. The collection is manual, but the transportation is not. Anybody recollect this movie? The first scene, this is from Fences, that's Denzel Washington that was nominated for the Oscars. This is set in 1950s. The next is both collection and transportation is automated. And then as we move on, this is completely a smart system. Not only does it automate the collection, the smart bins tell you the routing, whether the garbage bins are full and what they have in those bins. And if you look at this slide, and this is the theme that you're going to see throughout the conferences, as you move from left to right and bottom to top, the complexity of the tasks increase, and automation gets powered by intelligence. So the continuum of automation and intelligence. Moving over to the next example, this is of fire sprinklers. Again, completely manual as we move on, partly automated. More automation, fire sprinklers, heat sensors, and all of that. And then we have the smart fire systems. Not only they'll tell you the direction of the fire flow, but they'll also tell you what is the optimum escape route for the inhabitants in the building. What is the way you're going to escape, and which is the safest way of escaping? And if you look at the same chart as we looked at earlier, as we go from left to right and bottom to top, here too, you can see that there is more electronics and software that brings in intelligence as a continuum to automation as we move ahead with our times. Really, why is all this happening? And our last example is near and dear to our heart. This was a picture I took at the Munich BMW in 1927, the first IC engine, right? Completely mechanical, no automation at all. And if you look at the next picture, and you've seen all these fuel, heat sensors, temperature sensors, fuel sensors, and the speedometers, next level of automation. And we know the Prius, completely a connected car, but hybrid, right? And then we have autonomous level 5, driverless systems, completely automated, all of that. Now, again, you've seen this chart before. But what, if we abstract from this, what am I conveying over here? And if you move ahead to the next chart here, and you know all these are well-known logos and brand names. Tiny Home is from Intel, HoloLens is from Microsoft, Cortana is from Microsoft, and Waymo from Google, and so on and so forth. But these use cases that I just talked about demonstrate three things. Number one, automation powered by intelligence is increasing with the passage of time. There were just three examples. Number two, we will associate automation with the physicality of the product and associate intelligence with software and electronics. And both are improving and across various industries. And number three, and this is not very obvious from these charts, but the unpredictability of interaction with the environment increases with the complexity of the intelligent and automated product. So there is more unpredictability. As you move down, it's more predictable, your interactions. As you move up, it is more unpredictable. But keep the above in mind as we fast forward 100 years, or perhaps even just 50 years. Imagine now that our hologram personas attend meetings for us. They have learned our behaviors over time. Multiple meetings simultaneously, where physically you're not present, but you are present in those meetings. Super intelligent, tiny computers are omnipresent. OK Google and Alexa would have a lot of catching up to do. They make recommendations for us on what we should buy, where we should eat, and perhaps what we should even watch, what we should do in our spare time. Every decision that we make, scary, they make for us. Computers as we know them would disappear, as could cell phones, watches, and Fitbits, chips costing almost nothing by the millions in the environments around us. I was in Barcelona last week. All of last week I was in MWC and had a chance to visit all the major ecosystem partners. And it was all not just about connectivity, but about automation and intelligence. And Masayoshi-san of SoftBank was there, and he was giving one of the keynotes, and they acquired ARM. And I quote him, "We would have 500 ARM processors in every car, selling over 1 trillion processors by 2020, unquote. Imagine that our 5 senses were augmented by super intelligent microchips, and memory implants of vacations are not just total recall, but total reality. Now, if we'll regenerative bioprinting for spare parts for our organs as soon as they wear out are soon to come. No organ donors anymore. If you preserve the brain with a regenerative body, equals to eternal life. Now, it might seem a fantasy, but L'Oreal today prints, many of you know this, 5 square meters of skin to do their testing today. That's what L'Oreal prints today. Organvo, a company based out of San Diego, bioprints liver tissues, and in 3 to 5 years, they will have fully functioning liver with a fully functioning tissue. And last and not least, there is a company in Chengdu called Sichuan Revotech, and these are all publicly available information, that has printed an artery segment that is already implanted and working well in a monkey. What I just talked about, it's not a question of if, but rather of when. Today's disruptors like Airbnb, Uber, Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, we know all of them, could get disrupted again. 100 years ago, we had what we call the inventor entrepreneurs. These were the Wright brothers, Bell Labs, the Remington typewriter, the steam engine, you can go on and on. They were the fathers of the modern industry as we see them today. But fast forward 100 years, we have all these disruptors. The question is, what next? Those who deal with and adapt to change fast and sweeping technology changes will be the disruptors of tomorrow. And I'll end with a very interesting line that I learned in school when I was in college from Philip Kotler. And he said there are 3 kinds of people in this world. The first is who make things happen. The second is who watch things happen. And the third, wonder what happened. Well, we have a fantastic lineup of speakers today as we move forward. Starting off, we have Pari Natarajan. He'll give an overview of what artificial intelligence is all about. And the theme of the speakers and the panels that we have selected fits into what I just talked about software and electronics becoming more intelligent with automation. How do you compete with speed and disruption? We have 2 separate keynotes. One by Frank Kern, welcome Frank, and the other by Dominique Chavret from Altron. Bonjour and bienvenue, Dominique. Danielle. With digital at the heart of every company strategy, large corporations are not just stopping an internal transformation. Companies are going the extra mile of revamping their existing business models. Moving on from on-premise to cloud systems, we have 2 very exciting panels. The first panel on software-defined everything, and we have Anand Deshpande, CEO of Persistent. Welcome, Anand. And Vamsi and Pari will be joining him on that panel. And the second panel that we have, Crafting the Future of Technology on Microservices and Platforms, is being hosted by Kevin from Accenture. Thank you. And we have Peter, Siddharth, and Pankaj as a part of that panel. Welcome, Peter, Siddharth, and Pankaj. Drone delivery. By 2017, 50 billion devices and autonomous driverless cars, myth or a reality? On that panel, we have Manish, who is going to moderate the panel, along with Dan, Siddharth, and Amar from Wipro. Welcome, Dan, Siddharth, Amar. For more on automation and intelligence, there's a fireside chat, and we are welcoming both Sunil Bhatia, who is the CEO of Infogain, and Amit Walia, who is the EVP and the Chief Product Officer of Informatica. Welcome, Sunil and Amit. Lastly, post-lunch, we have three very, very interesting panel discussions. The first is a disruptor showcase on AI startups, which is hosted by Kunal from Wipro. And then we have Arun, Alexei, Chetan, and we have Arun, Alexei, and Chetan for this discussion. Welcome, Arun, Alexei, and Chetan, and Kunal. It's a very interesting panel discussion. And last and not least, on the product strategy and discussion, we have Divakar from InnoMinds, who is the CEO of InnoMinds, and he's going to host this panel on product engineering with Elizabeth Urson from Park and George. We have the last panel on how software startups and multinational corporations really need to deal with each other, and we have Bob Hiss from Accenture moderating that panel, along with John, Pradeep, Star, and Sakar. And that brings us to the end of the agenda. But before I go, I have the pleasure of introducing M.R. Ramaswamy. M.R. Ramaswamy is a very old supporter of Zinnov and one of our first customers and a well-wisher of Zinnov. He is a software executive, investor, entrepreneur, and a corporate strategy expert. He needs no introduction, but I still think it's important I say a few words about MR. A community builder and a philanthropist. Recognized as a software business expert, he participated in the rapid expansion of Silicon Valley software industry during his tenure, and as an executive at both large and small software companies. In 1997, MR founded the Sandhill Group, one of the earliest angel investment firms, and was featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Welcome, MR.